So I'm still having a little bit of problems with the clutch on my ZX9. Now that I have a good clutch sleeve cylinder in there, it's definitely feeling better, but we're having a hard time engaging and disengaging, so I'm going to pop out the clutch and see what I can see, and see if we can diagnose that. For anyone who's worked on a clutch before on a car but not a motorcycle, you'll be very surprised at how easy it is and how available all the little parts are. Basically, a lot of different bikes are like this. Basically, you just start by popping off this right side cover to expose the clutch basket. Aha, so here's my problem. You see, this is my clutch basket here, and I've got all my little clutch discs. Alright, this little doohicker there is supposed to be centered so that it sort of faces out. See how it's all catawampus? Here, I'll show you what it's supposed to look like. It's supposed to look like that. This is one that I just pulled out of my other motor. It's supposed to be centered right in there. So, thank God for replacement parts and parts bikes. What I'm going to do is just pull that faceplate off my clutch and put this one on. Now to do that, I've got 5 bolts here and they have springs underneath. Nothing's going to sprang out at you, but these are clutch springs. A lot of times when you have a wore out clutch that's slipping, the clutch plates might be fine, they might be within spec, and you can measure that by just taking a set of calipers and measuring how thick they are. But the problem is that these springs, from being compressed their entire lives, have gotten a little wore out. So you just pop this cover off, and then you pop these bolts out, and this is the spring that you can buy. That costs like $1. So I'm going to take all these out. Alright, so now that I got them all out, I can just sort of encourage these guys to wiggle on out. Usually you can pull out most of your clutch discs. And you see this thing should want to sit right in there, but it doesn't. Got damaged. So I'll just replace it with the new one. Right here is my clutch push rod, and this comes all the way over from my master cylinder on the other side. And when I press my clutch, this pops out. I'm not going to do it because I don't want to blow out the diaphragm on my clutch sleeve, because I just paid 20 bucks for that. But that's how that works. Now what I can do now is take apart these individual discs and measure them, measure their width, and make sure they're still within specs. And I can look that number up in my repair manual, and if they're not, if they're too worn down or whatever, then I can just replace them. So there's, I pulled some out here. There's still some more in there which you can pull out with a magnet and just sort of get them to come on out, and then throw the new ones in, and then you're good to go. This is your clutch basket here. If for some reason this is damaged, you got to take this great big nut off, and that should pop out. But it looks fine to me, and after I make sure that these are within specs and these are good clutch discs, then I'm just going to throw everything back together the way it was, but with this new part which isn't falling apart like that. One last thing, you can see this part of the clutch function here. When I'm not pulling on the clutch, all the springs are extended here, and so all the clutch discs have a lot of friction, and so it doesn't allow for any rotation. I can't rotate this. But when I pull on the clutch, the whole thing pops out just a little bit, and then you can rotate it, and that way it's free. Pretty cool little design, in my opinion.